I serve lawfully. That's kind of my high holy. It's a sour out of New Belgium. But I like to have people's tongues kind of excited before I start serving my food.
Just be careful if you're hosting this your way and serving this, because Brad has an easily excitable tongue.
Right. I've heard that about him.
It's great when he's not here to defend himself.
Oh, I know. We could just punch down on him all the time. Him with his handsome haircut. So here we are, everybody. Welcome to the Deep Dive Pod. This week we're going to talk about holiday meals and pairings of spirits, wines, and beers that some companies only release during the holidays. We are once again back at our friends at John's Grocery, or as you might know it as Dirty John's if you've attended University of Iowa. They have an event coming up on December 3rd, their winter event. They actually have two major events a year, one during the summer and one's during the winter. So the December 3rd event is what we're going to talk about. Everything that we're going to talk about today will be available for sale after today. They just got a huge shipment of their holiday wine and spirits in today. So we're here during a day of some moderate chaos. So we appreciate the time that they're spending with us. So with me is John. How you doing today, John?
Very good.
Brad is not with us during this episode, but I assure you he is with us in spirit. You can still kind of smell his dreamy cologne that he wafts into a room.
Stays everywhere he goes.
Right. So also joining us today is J.D. Alberhaskey. If you heard our last show, this is Doug's son and the next generation of John's Grocery. Also with us, Zach Isom, who is the wine guy here at Doug's Grocery. So, Zach, how you doing?
Not too bad at all. Happy to be here.
JD, it's kind of early in the morning.
It is.
Really appreciate you being here. You're
No problem.
You're kind of fresh out of college. Last year at this time, were you in college?
No, I graduated college in 2023. So this is
okay.
my second full year
Right.
working at John's here.
Right. So, well, we appreciate both of you guys being here with us. You know, there's a couple different holiday meals that are special through the year. Obviously, Easter is kind of a big holiday meal for families. But the Thanksgiving and Christmas meals, I think, are most associated with special spirits, wines, and beers. The meals are depending on what you have. One's sometimes turkey, one's sometimes ham. I mean, there's roast beef and everything. But it's the sides that really kind of make these really interesting meals. They're kind of savory, and they're they really lend themselves to some good pairing. So today, you guys have done a great job of identifying some wines, beers, and spirits that really pair well with some of these winter meals that we have for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So let's start off with Thanksgiving. So we have a turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, dressing. JD, what should we start off with? Should we start off with the beers or wines, or at the end, does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. Wherever you want to get it going.
All right. So
I'll say let's do the wine first.
Wine first.
Let's do that.
John.
Thanksgiving wines.
All right, Thanksgiving wines. So let's talk about the three wines that we have, and then I'll let you decide here, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've brought in a couple of different options for you guys. I brought in a classic, a Pinot Noir, which I think if you're going into any type of Thanksgiving situation, whether you're with family or you're just hanging out with friends, Pinot Noir is always going to be that flexible. It fills most needs. It doesn't need food, but it does enhance it. That's the big thing.
Right.
I think when a lot of people think of wine, sometimes they can think like, oh, I need a big piece of meat. And that's because they're usually drinking these heavy cabs with big tannins. It can be a little burly, and they need that fat to kind of soften out the rough edges. Pinot, especially just like those wonderful, again, affordable Pinots that we're looking at, not those really high-end ones that can have those tannins, are generally going to be a little bit more forgiving, a little bit easier to take down. So first off, I brought today from a fantastic little company called Teutonic out of the Willamette Valley in Oregon, distributed by my good friend Kevin Roberts, actually in the state at Meadowlark Provisions. It's, to me, a beautiful expression of cutting that right down the middle.
Right.
Bright, fresh cherries, really drinkable, gets you going back to the glass every time, while also having enough structure to handle your turkey, your lighter meats like that.
Right.
I'm not saying sear a steak and drink this thing. It might get a little overpowered,
Right.
but it can be really flexible, especially with your side dishes, your gravies, your whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's going to be able to make that happen. Do you want me to just run down the line of all three? Fantastic. The second wine is going to be Les Heretiques, which is a cool little red blend from France. It's going to have, if you think of like your California wines, your GSMs, your Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, it's just a little kind of concoction of deliciousness. But the big thing about this wine for me is it's $13. And I think that this year, at least where my head is at, is about value.
Right.
That people are going to be like, I want my dollar to go a little bit further than it has in the past, because maybe budgets are a little bit tighter. So that's, again, another one that's very flexible. It can it's got a little spiciness. It's got some fun playfulness to it as well. But it can kind of like cut any way that you need it to work for you. And then last, we brought something that's really the big thud, the big fun. Quinta Noval's 10-year tawny port. So we're talking, this is the end of the night. This is the nightcap, maybe with dessert, maybe without. I know a lot of older generation fellas who are like, glass of port instead of the dessert, whatever it is. Sometimes you can just have that luxury without having to have the slice of cake, etc.
Sure.
But yeah, those are kind of three main ones. Do you guys want to try them, or what do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll let you.
John's kind of our wine guy. So what would you like to start with here?
I think let's just do the order which you described.
Right.
Yeah, let's rock and roll. I'll pour them.
So this is a very exciting episode for me. We talked on a previous pod about one of the enduring holiday traditions we have at our house. We order a fresh turkey from a CSA farm, pick it up, photos on Facebook of the girls. The other enduring tradition is we come to John's Grocery and let them help us pick wine every year.
Yeah.
And they never let you down. So, and Pinot, I think, is always on the recommended list, and they've always got fantastic ones to choose from. And this is, you said it's an Oregon Pinot.
Indeed, yeah.
Can you tell us just a little bit of difference? You hear people say California Pinot versus Oregon Pinot.
Absolutely. The big difference that I see in that is really how hot the climate is, how sunny it's going to be if they let their fruit hang long. Typically, those Pinots from California are going to be a little bigger in body, a little bit more robust, maybe some darker fruit. As opposed to Oregon with those clear-cut, soft, gentle winds, you're going to get cherries and, more floral aspects. It's just a different dynamism that you're going to get in the glass.
Yeah, this is really bright on the nose.
Yeah, absolutely, right? It's not going to be some big, unctuous monster that maybe you're used to, again, getting at your steakhouse. Oh, lovely.
John's fallen in love. He's making eyes. I only see him make it Becky.
Well, yeah.
Becky should have come in on this, but she's going to be disappointed she wasn't allowed to be a guest on this. But rest assured, there's a bottle to come home.
Yeah, absolutely. See how it melts away like that? Doesn't linger too long on the palate. We're not worried about the aftertaste. We need to rinse our mouths out. It says, again, Pinot can really be used for any situation. And that's what I love about it so much. And why I think, honestly, it's one of the biggest growing varietals, at least at my store, is I think all those cab drinkers realize, we never finished the bottle. We leave a third of it over because we all got kind of tired. Pinot's that one you're like, go get another one out of the fridge or wherever you're keeping.
And I can definitely see this carrying from the meal to the after meal or the before, just from when everybody's kind of congregating and then take it into the table with you. Because this is delicious. This is going to pair with just about everything.
Exactly.
It goes great with everything you put on the Thanksgiving table.
Right.
Exactly.
Sure.
From your little cranberry and walnut salad all the way up until the main dish, right? Yeah. That's the power and expressiveness of Pinot.
This was a great choice. Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you definitely want to pick up a bottle or two or three of this, it has the pheasant on the label, very distinct. If you don't remember the name when you walk in, look for the pheasant on the label.
I think also the big thing is that the bottle, you might notice, is a very tall bottle.
Yes, it is.
So the winemaker was actually a huge fan of Riesling. That's how he got into wine. He was like, Riesling, which they call in the past the cook's wine, because it's so flexible. One of the only wines that pairs with Thai food is always what I say. Yeah. But he was like, I want to make these wines that are approachable and friendly, and people can have them with or without food. Sometimes, I look at some of those older Italian wines, it's like, you either got to set that in your basement for 15 years, or you better have a big honking piece of meat, because that Barolo is about to be mean to you. Right. But I think that these next generations coming out are looking for approachability and things they can drink now. So
in my lifetime, I think the United States has kind of gained a little bit of respect in the wine. California has done a good job of marketing themselves and kind of positioning themselves in the world. But Oregon, places that, have really not necessarily made themselves a destination, a place to go spend a weekend, is turning out some really great wines. They're just doing the work of making great stuff.
Exactly. And you're going to see that grow more and more. I mean, I've got wines now from New York. Like, they're actually, because of their cold climate, not to make a theme out of this podcast or whatever, but Riesling does really well in cooler climates. So the Finger Lakes outside of New York is now a hotbed for Riesling.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I told you that like A-class wine was coming out of New York, you're like, whatever, man.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's the place I buy it at a store, but it's not a place they're growing it. But it is happening. More and more people, as we get more and more accessible, they're finding places where they can grow these interesting and unique grapes. And Pinot suited itself so well to Oregon. Oregon's temperate climate, and yeah, you get some really beautiful things. They call it the next Burgundy.
Right. We had, so I grew up in southern Iowa, and we had a couple Italian families and a couple Croatian families. And so for the holiday meals, you would go to their house and buy directly from them. And I just remember like going into their backyard, and they would have this cellar. They'd open this door that was like part of the earth. And you would go down there, and they would get you a couple bottles. And they had done that forever and ever and ever. I mean, there was no labels on it or nothing.
Yeah.
They knew what year they put it in there. But I feel like this spirit of winemaking has been in the United States for a long time. Obviously, Thomas Jefferson and Washington, all those guys made wine. Benjamin Franklin obviously enjoyed wine.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know if it was a temperance movement or what, but that went away. I mean, people making wine or wanting to make that risk, because it's a financial risk to make it. Yeah. But I feel like it's back.
Yeah. I think that spirit of exploration is always coming about as you get more access to be able to do it, in the same way that filmmaking is done by a lot more amateurs than it ever has been.
Yeah.
You can actually make the things yourself,
Right. Yeah. Well, this was a great way to start. Tough act to follow, but I know you've got another great one lined up for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is another red.
you.
This is a little bit darker red than the first one we had. This is kind of fruity too.
Yeah, a little richer maybe on the nose. I'm not an expert.
No, absolutely. And a little bit more like that. I always call it, for lack of wanting to be so certain about what I'm saying, a little bit of a spice box factor, right? You're seeing a little, if you were to pull open that cabinet in your kitchen, you're like, oh yeah, there's some of this, maybe a little cardamom, something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good explanation. Yeah.
Again, I have become a master of lazy man's descriptors. It's like, take the thing that's specific, blow it out one step.
Right. So what is this called again?
This is called Les Heretiques. So these guys were old French winemakers in southern France, and they didn't want to basically follow the rules that France is very much like Italy, a very rules-based system.
Right.
You want to get a appellation de contrôle, aka like you get certified, right? They're like, this is from here. These winemakers were considered heretical because they were like, we're just going to all co-op and make these wines ourselves and have fun with it. And so they were marked the heretics. And, of course, they had to kind of live it up and put it on the front label. Because they're just making these fun little field blends. As I was saying earlier, think of like your GSM, but it's a whole kitchen cabinet full of different like little red wine varietals that are in there, which make up a beautiful and then also affordable wine. Yeah. Because we're not paying for this vineyard designation and this nice thing. We're just paying for good, drinkable stuff.
Right. And I am looking at how much this costs on the side of the bottle, and I will tell you, this is very affordable. Even for me, this would be, we're talking cases. You can get a case of this for pretty affordable, and it tastes amazing.
It really does taste good.
You didn't think this came all the way from France?
Sometimes you can't believe that you're getting away with where you're like, I can spend more money on something that was made, 20-hour drive away from me.
This is delicious, man. This is so good.
Yeah, really good.
And again, that's what we're looking for, is things that are great, but also strike a value.
Right.
Like that's always John's tries to cut high and low in that way, is that, we'll sell you a pack of cigarettes and a $300 bottle of whiskey.
Right.
Like we service the whole community, not just parts of it.
I will tell you from the taste of this, and I'm not a wine dude, but this tastes good for me, that if I were to get a case of this and give these as gifts, people would think I would spend a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Well, I think anytime you do a wine tasting, whether you got to Napa or whatnot, if you line up the wines and taste them, you will find some you say, I just love that, and you find out That's the $70 bottle right next to the $300 bottle. And you like what you like, you like.
Right.
And there's amazing flavors and amazing wines at all price points. And yeah, this is a sub $20 wine, I believe, for a bottle.
Right.
And just goes to show you don't have to spend to get something that's really drinkable.
Right.
Amazing with your holiday meal.
Right. I like the fact that they're not on point. That's the kind of things I like a little bit about Belgian beers versus German beers. The Belgians are like, hey, let's throw this in here and see what it tastes like.
Exactly. Yeah. No Reinheitsgebot to follow, right? So they just get to kind of have fun in there.
Right.
But still having an immense tradition.
So
another great choice.
This is a blended wine. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that and the grapes and the region that it's produced from?
Absolutely. So it's going to be from southern France, and you're going to be looking at your typical grapes that you would see in those type of blends. So I believe it's Syrah, Mourvedre. There's even a touch of Cinsault, which maybe is a little bit of like I haven't heard of that one. But again, traditionally a very accepted blending grape for these style of wines. It kind of comes from the part of France that's, again, they don't care what everyone else is doing.
Right.
It's not from Bordeaux, it's not from Burgundy, and it's not from the Rhone. Those are kind of like the big, like, hey, you got to be doing this our way.
Right.
This is more like something that you would see. Again, you talked about you having wine in someone's cellar. This would be that wine that you bought from a guy off a cart that had a cart full of it, and he was just filling up a plastic jug.
Yeah.
Another great story my old friend Tom told me. He was like, best wine I ever had while I was down there, I bought from some guy on the side of a dirt road, and he filled up a milk carton.
Right.
You know, it was like, sadly, the French, or positively, the French just have great wine coming out of their ears.
Right.
So you don't have to spend, you can
Absolutely.
spend $3,000 on a DRC if you want, but why not just spend $15 on something
For
quite
sure.
well?
And you can just taste this and know it's going to be awesome with green bean casserole
Yep.
or your turkey and ham. It's going to play with the whole plate.
Exactly. And that's the thing, flexibility.
This is kind of, it would be a good dessert wine too.
Oh,
I mean,
it could definitely hang out for sure, right? Go to the opposite end of that spectrum where you're contrasting as opposed to, as we'll get to, maybe just enhancing.
Right.
Which can be a lot more of a fun way in which you explore pairing, which is like, what if, does this make sense? It's
Right.
like theoretical, right? You got to see if it.
I know what Ray's saying.
streets
At this
are-
price point, you get the first bottle for the charcuterie phase,
Right.
and then the second 2 or 3 bottles for dinner,
Right.
and then another 2 or 3 bottles for your dessert.
What I was going to say was the coloring of this kind of reminds me of those 1970s album covers. Is that red that would be 2 glasses of this color red in front of a fireplace? This is like a good fireplace. Get a bottle of this for the
Start to
missus.
finish wine.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Great
But again-
choice here.
Yeah.
All right. Now on to the fun one, huh? So what are you looking for on the nose on this? We've got the port.
Oh yeah. I'm getting big chocolatey.
Noval, is that the name of it?
Quinta Noval, yeah, this is their 10-year tawny port. So again, affordable in the great range of port. Obviously, we can get up into the triple digits,
Right.
but like sitting in the 30-40 range, that's where you're usually going to get this type of thing. It's elevated a little bit because obviously it's got some age on it. Portugal is another place that's very choosy about how things are done.
A little bit more rigid with their.
What's so interesting about port is when they have a declared vintage. It'll be like 2013 was a declared vintage. Basically, all of the main producers get together and as an assembly, they decide if the vintage was good enough, if the weather was nice,
Right.
if everything made sense, if it seems like they're really going to turn out, then they'll call it. Otherwise, you'll get 10 years like this, it didn't make the cut, or late bottle vintages, which are just like, again, another kind of riff on that.
For those that don't know, can you tell us what is port and what makes port?
But what makes port is typically like the way in which it is made, which I won't go super in the weeds on it. But this is going to be a dessert wine, which means we're going to go high up in AVB. Alcohol by volume. That word is just not.
Get the bees in there. We've only sampled a few right now.
Exactly. Yeah, 2 drinks in, and I'm already too loose-lipped for this. But it's going to be higher in alcohol by volume, and then it's also just going to be more robust and rich. That's
Right.
when we're going to get the residual sugar, the sweetness you're going to perceive, and it's just a great finisher.
So I don't want to throw people off by this, but what I'm getting is kind of like a fig, like the middle of Fig Newton. It's like a big, super fruity. I mean, this is so rewarding. This is a really a great taste, man. This is definitely a dessert.
Exactly. This is that wine that. So I come from craft beer. That's where I started my journey in alcohol, like really just loving that type of thing. And this is the on road for some of those craft beer drinkers who really like those big bourbon barrel aged stouts, right?
Yeah.
Those big rich things that are very rewarding and delicious. And you're totally right with figs. Oftentimes I talk about dark stewed fruit, right? Or you think of like those desserts where it's like really like plummy and things of that. That's often the notes that I give as well. Fig is a great call.
You know, everyone does their own thing with pumpkin pie. I like to go heavy cinnamon, heavy clove, heavy ginger. Yeah. Gives it a little bit more of a spiced pumpkin pie.
Right.
That with this. Off the charts.
Oh,
agreed.
That's my pro tip if you're going to make pumpkin pie. Consider nudging up your cinnamon, clove, and then grab a bottle of this for the after.
So if you're looking at it, it's a white label. Ours has a number 10 on it. I'm sure that there's other Navals that have Naval ports that are different vintage. But this is a good price point too. If you want to do something special and you want to open this after the meal for dessert, this is going to impress a lot of people. And I think probably, like you said, it's a nice introduction to people that don't drink wines that are like kind of a fruity type of sweet wine.
It's really what people are looking for. One of the big things and why I think everyone should be a little multidisciplinary in their wine, liquor, and beer is that there's a brotherhood between all of them. There's always things that's like, oh, you like this style of beer? Have you tried this style of wine? Or maybe you like this type of spirit? Like, have you thought about like going over here? Wine for me and how I ended up here is mostly because it's that universal tangent that I can always have a conversation with somebody. I like IPAs. Have you tried Sauv Blanc? Like, it's a fun back and forth that slowly I'm trying to just tear away the pretension and get to the fun conversations about that, right?
So it's delivery day, obviously. We see you've got a lot of boxes you're unfurling. Do you have most of your inventory that you're going to have with holiday-specific wines here, and will it be out and available? And I guess the other thing I'll just ask you for listeners who maybe aren't into wine but do wine this time of year, I think a lot of people feel like it's intimidating to walk in and approach someone and ask them about wine, and a lot of people try to fake it while they're in there. What would you recommend people come in? Do they just ask for you? Is there always someone here that can help with wine?
Sadly, I can't be here all the time.
Exactly.
I am here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and also my phone is always on me. So if you've got a very specific question or a very specific need, the people who work here at night know they can call me at the drop of a hat. I will answer it unless I'm dying. I'm always on my phone too.
Right.
But yeah, just come in and ask for me. I think the big thing is don't ever be intimidated by any of us. Like whether it's in spirits or beer or wine, we want to help you find what you're looking for. I remember the first day I started here, my direct boss, Chris, he's like, after 5 o'clock, you're just the ambassador of fun.
Right.
People are just here looking to enhance their night and have a good time.
Yeah.
Make sure that they get to that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. I'm not coming here and I'm going to quiz you on how much you know about wine. I'm going to ask you, well, what's your price point and what do you, who are you hanging out with? Bunch of nerdy wine heads or just your casual group of friends?
Right.
I'm going to try and make sure that they can fill that slot just right.
So I had somebody tell me one time, and you're welcome to say this is not true because I want somebody to tell me it's not true. But so far, this has been true. I was in north of Chicago, or I wanted to bring a bottle of wine to a meal. It was summer, and I was at it was a liquor store, and I said, "Hey, can you help me pick out? I want this to be nice." And I said, "I don't know anything about wine." And he said, "Find a bottle of wine, what you want to pay are a little bit more, and if you find a bottle, if there's a couple bottles missing, look to the left and right of it. If the price point is about the same and it's not on sale, take the bottle. 2 are already gone. 2 other, if it's not on sale, or if the things to the left or right of it's there, what's already gone is probably okay."
Exactly.
In general, would you say that's if you don't have anybody around and you're...
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's funny because I think in a lot of people's brains, when they see the last bottle on the shelf, they think, oh, I can't take that.
Yeah.
Like that, there must be a reason that that's still there.
Right.
But it's quite the opposite, as you're right. It's like, no, that means that someone bought 5 other bottles on the shelf.
Right.
Or someone's.
Yeah.
Now you've got a crowd that's kind of like selling it. This wine's pretty good. I think that is a good way to go about it, right? It means that people are picking it up and it has traction. But again, nothing beats talking to your guy.
Right.
That's always going to be the thing.
And the other thing too, pointing out the difference between the story I just told and John's Grocery is everything's always stocked all the time. And you guys do such a good job of keeping the shelves.
Yeah.
But
I led off by saying, this is one of the two really enduring traditions, wine from John's and the turkey that we do. And this became a tradition when I was in my mid-late 20s. We were hosting our first Thanksgiving. I knew nothing about wine.
Yeah.
Came down here and Doug and the team had different wines out, so approachable, and made it super easy for someone who had no idea what to do. And it was knocked it out of the park with the pairing. Everyone complimented, thought I knew way more about wine than I did when I got home on Thanksgiving. And we've been back every year. So if you're listening to this and you either haven't done wine traditionally or you're not sure about it, just come down to John's and let them help you. Tell them what you're making, and they'll take care of you from there.
Right. And take mental notes and then pass the stories that Zach tells you off as your own. He doesn't care.
Absolutely not.
That's part of the bottle of the wine. The price you're paying is the stories that Zach tells you.
Speaking of stories, I will tell you one wine story. So my wife, Becky, who would love to have been here today, and she'll give us grief for not inviting her.
Right.
But, she does seem to have a really good palate for wine. And when we've been out in Napa doing wine tasting, she gets a lot of compliments from hosts and sommeliers about her palate. But we also don't take things super seriously. We were at a wine tasting at a very fancy winery in Napa, and the host was pouring wines, and he was telling us how he graduated from high school with the Mondavi kids and the Gott kids. And without batting an eye, Becky looked him in the eye and said, "God, your football team had to suck."
That's true.
He didn't know where to go with that.
Right.
Listen, I graduated from Linn-Mar High School in 2008, and that year our football team went what I call defeated.
Is it
Right.
We
Linn-Mar Lions?
Didn't win a single game.
Right.
Didn't win a single game.
Well, it's not that way now.
It doesn't happen too often at Linn-Mar, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
But
not anymore. I heard they got a big donation after I left. All of a sudden,
Right.
everybody's cheering for them.
Well, Doug and I remember the days of City High and Linn-Mar really having some battles on the gridiron, that's for sure.
Great.
Well, Zach, thank you for running us through that. You're obviously welcome to stay because it sounds like you were the former beer guy too.
No, I've just been a big beer guy. I've helped under. I used to like kind of what do you want to call it, like multi-class, help everybody out while they were getting there. But definitely was my first passion.
Yeah, well, we want to pimp this several times, but you have an event coming up. Why don't you
Yes.
tell quickly about that, and we'll revisit it again at the end. But go ahead.
You're talking about the first Wednesday in December,
Correct.
where we're going to have so many people sampling out cool things. I think the big thing about this event is that you can come, it's a couple hours, and you're going to be able to taste things to your heart's content.
Right.
Especially a lot, because we always do, of interesting and cool things. Maybe something you've been interested in trying, but I don't know if I want to spend the money on that. There'll be a lot of those neat things out there sampling. And then, of course, the Piece de Resistance, which I think a lot of people just come for, which is the bourbon raffle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a handful of really cool selected bottles that we've been kind of putting in our cellar
back,
away to make sure they kind of come all out and everybody can have a chance to get it. So it isn't just that guy who has every Thursday morning free who can come in and check and see what came
Right.
in. Right. Everybody the 9-to-5s get a fighting chance.
You guys have a
That's
couple really
fantastic.
great events. I like your summer event quite a bit
Oh,
out
yeah.
on the parking lot. Chance to get my tank top out.
It's been a
It's always out, isn't it? Right? You're a
yeah, it's on
Scotsman.
now, yeah.
But it's but no, you guys have great time. The holiday event is really special, and it kind of what starts me into feeling, that Christmas is coming.
Yep.
So
Well, again, thanks for your time. The pictures of what we sampled will be on our Facebook page if you want to see the bottles yourselves. And again, shop local and enjoy the holidays.
all right, thanks, Zach. We're going to shift now to JD. Obviously, Zach, if you want to stick around, you're welcome to. But JD has selected some seasonal beers and spirits for us. I think it needs to be said that a lot of the seasonal beers, I think, at least internationally, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, places like that, are made to pair with their meals. Now, not everybody has a Thanksgiving, but it seems like this harvest season, this holiday season, you start seeing a lot more fruited beers or spiced beers, and the United States is definitely one of those that have kind of grasped this a little bit. So
Yeah, so one of the biggest things about beers is there's so many different types, And so basically you could have whatever meal that you would like to have, there is a beer for that. So some of the beers that I have picked out, we have Lindemann's, which is it's basically like the champagne of beer. It's called Lambic. It is a very like fruity beer. It's great for dessert. And then I also picked out a Samuel Smith. It's their winter ale. And it's just a nice, rich, malty, and a touch of sweetness. And then I actually have one from right down the block from us from Big Grove. It's called A Real Nice Surprise. It is a double IPA, and I believe it's coming in around 9%. So it's definitely on the higher side of the ABV. And then the last one that I have is a Shinerbach. It's their holiday cheer.
Right.
So.
And that one's kind of I think the Shinerbach Holiday Cheer and the Boulevard Nutcracker are, I think, my two that, I always have out, and people are like, wow, this is great. Like, yeah, this is, you can get a bunch of this. It's not super expensive and it's great. So.
Yes.
Is the Big Grove, is this the first year for that, or have they done that previously? I don't know that I've seen it.
I believe this is their first year, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it before. And I didn't actually realize that can was Big Grove when you pulled it out. So that's fantastic. Get a local flair in there. So yeah, should we do a sampling of some of these?
We'll defer to you. We'll probably, I don't know what you think, but maybe going from least dominant to most flavorful, or maybe the beginning of the meal to the dessert, or...
The great thing about the holiday time is it's a great beer drinking season.
Yes,
There's
it really
so
is.
many wonderful beers. And we'll talk about pairing these with food, but these are also just sit by the fireplace with a movie on, snow outside of the window, enjoying a great winter warmer beer.
Something else that needs to be said is, you don't need to have special glassware in order to enjoy these, but John's Grocery definitely has glassware that's appropriate for what we're drinking, everything we've had today, the wine, and now this. You can come here and buy the glassware. A lot of the stuff is branded, so if you have somebody that has spent some time at the University of Iowa and you want to get them a gift, it's, they have John's Grocery specific stuff. That would make a wonderful gift, and especially if they've moved out of town. So tell us, JD, what are we drinking here now?
So this is the Samuel Smith Winter Welcome. So yeah, as I said, it's just very rich, malty, a little bit sweet. It's just a nice, it goes really well with a good hearty meal. So this would be perfect for your just Thanksgiving or your Christmas or whatever holiday.
Right.
When you get that big meal. This would be like a perfect beer to pair with that.
Right. So this is light. This is kind of light on the tongue. It's kind of spritey. It's an ale, obviously. So the bottle itself is purple, and it has it has a horn, like a brass band playing Christmas music.
And I'd be remiss if I know we're super popular in the London market,
right?
With at least 3 confirmed listeners. This would go great with any of your pies or your fish and chips.
This is a UK brewery. So, yeah, I don't know if this actually came over here, if it was brewed here, but so it came over?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did they change the recipe of this every year, or is it always, it is a changing recipe? Okay. I was curious about that.
So, yeah, this is a delightful ale. It's, like I said, it's spritey, and it's really kind of light. It would pair real well with any game. Obviously turkey, but duck and pheasant. I think this would be great with a pheasant that was done well. So
absolutely. And like we said before, it'd be great just sitting by the fire watching, It's a Wonderful Life.
Right.
Staying warm by the fireplace.
Right. I think that these holiday specific ales or these holiday specific beers in the United States, they've been a little bit hijacked by the pumpkin spice cranberry thing, everybody thinks, but really,
it's too bad Brad's not here for this episode, because he'll tell you he gets into these pumpkin spice ales and then you just can't get him to move off it. Right? It's hard to even have a beer at his house this time of year.
Right. It's just like eating a pumpkin spiced candy bar. But this is obviously a seasonal beer, but this would be great in the summer.
It would be.
I mean, if you had like 3 or 4 of these and it got up over 80 degrees, this would be a delightful beer.
Have you ever loaded up on 4 packs of Winter Welcome and had it last you till the summer, Ray?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? It barely gets to New Year's.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is one thing about beer that is really cool. They're always following the trends. And basically, like for the fall season, the pumpkin spice is a really big thing, but that didn't used to be like that. And basically, as like trends come and go, all the different breweries are doing all their research and everything like that, and they're deciding what is going to make our beer even better than last year, because they're always trying to one up the last year's version to make sure that they have the best possible beer for all the consumers.
Well, this is great. This is a great choice. Just to let everybody know, Doug is in the orbit of this, and we've got a full Doug Alberhasky pour, so I need to take a couple more drinks. And I might have to like make sure I got Uber installed on my phone.
He pours his beer like pours his whiskey.
Right. 32 ounce.
So while Ray is finishing that, one of the things we don't have on the list in front of us is a spirit, Malort.
Yep.
We were given just a little bit of an inside tip that, JD, you might have a little bit of a history with Malort.
Just a little bit. So basically, when I was in college, I had a few bottles appear in my dorm room for some reason.
Okay.
And, my dad being my dad, he sent me home or back to school with a bottle of Malort.
Right.
And
because he loves you.
Yes, very much so.
That's
or at
what
least
you do
that's
for
what
people.
that's
Right.
what I thought. But he was like, "Yeah, it's from Chicago. I think all your friends will really like this." Let's just say I called him after and I said, "I thought you loved me, and I didn't know this was our breaking point in our relationship." But after I did try that, I did not run out of any of the bottles because I said, "Hey, yeah, I'll give you a free shot, but you have to take a shot of Malort first."
Yeah.
And I lost a
Well
lot
done.
of friends because of that.
Right.
So
You do know there is an actual ad campaign from Malort that says, "Tonight's the night you fight your dad." So
Yes.
you actually may have lived that.
yep, I was very close. We'll just say that.
Well, John and Steve host a very predominant and famous tailgate on Saturdays, and they come down here and buy a bottle of Malort every Thursday or Friday night.
Yeah, we've got plenty of Malort from John's Grocery,
Yep.
that's for sure. And,
And-
it's equally as popular with our friends as it is yours.
Yours, you're right. Well, it's good you experience that, and I think that you have to have at least one bottle of Malort sitting around.
Everyone needs to try it at least once, is what I say. And I will say, after working here and some of our staff actually enjoys it, I've had way too much Malort for my lifetime.
Right.
But it gets a little better, maybe. I don't know if I'm just going crazier after each shot, but
Well, I know they came out with a pumpkin varietal of Malort for fun one year. If you do see a holiday spice version hit the shelves, make sure you give us a heads up so we can get it before anyone else.
Will
And I
do.
think their whiskey is legitimately good whiskey, right?
I think they did a bourbon that actually
Yeah.
is real.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Jepson's.
Jepson's
Yeah.
Malort.
We did
yeah.
a bit of a deep dive on it, and during Prohibition, they were still allowed to sell it because they said it was
medicinal.
right. It cured stomach worms, and the board that tried it said, "Absolutely, this is not a."
Yeah, and
this
it
is-
does. We have not had stomach worms for probably 6 years.
Right? No, I've.
All right, we are moving on to some Texas cheer. It looks like.
So I think we're going to go with Shiner Bock next.
Yep.
So actually, this isn't a Bock.
No, they're famous for their Bock beer, but this is
Right.
their holiday version. So,
So-
what do we got, JD?
So we got our Shinerbach Holiday Cheer. It's going to be definitely more on the fruitier side. A little bit of like pecans in there as well.
Right. Yeah, and this is a holiday. So that's what I was talking about. The fact that a lot of these holiday beers have been hijacked by cranberry and pumpkin spice. Shiner has had a wonderful holiday beer that, focuses on nuts, things
Yep.
that really complement the meal.
Yes.
And they do holiday without the absolute obvious. And Shiner is one of my favorites. So is Shiner, that's a Texas.
Yep,
Shiner, yeah.
Yep.
Shiner, Texas.
Yeah, just on the nose of this one, it smells just like peaches.
So yeah, no,
That really does smell like
Yeah, it
peaches.
really
That's a
does.
good
Right.
pull.
So I will, for that reason, I will hold a case of this over for summer, and this is what we have around the 4th of July. Is this because of the peachy smell?
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah. So yeah, this is a really nice fruity beer. It's not heavy.
No.
And this really would make a good gift. So peaches and pecans, yeah. It's 5.4%, and this is a great gift if you show up and your brother-in-law is a Busch Light person.
Yes,
they're going to enjoy this.
This is one of those beers where even if you don't really like the taste of beer, this is so fruity and just the nuts come through very well at the end of the palate. it's really enjoyable for anybody. So
Yeah, those holiday parties where you have to bring a white elephant gift.
Yeah.
It's never the wrong move to bring a good 6-pack of holiday beer.
Right. No, I agree.
That's one of the most popular ones to win every time in
Right.
a white elephant gag.
I always think Shiner, because I drank Shiner Bock for a long time. As a matter of fact, I got it here because I lived right like a block or two away. And to think that I was drinking good beer
Yep.
for like an inexpensive, because Shiner wasn't too terribly expensive. It was a little above Rhinelander, but it was.
All right, now we're going to go with the lambic.
Yep.
All right.
Let me finish up this
Yeah.
pour real
Same here.
quick.
No, take your time. We've got a little.
So we're starting to get into my wheelhouse. I am a big Belgium person. The whole Flemish influence. I was at one time a pretty big New Belgium person.
Okay.
Definitely a New Glarus person.
Yep.
They do a lot of experimental things. But I think the Germans were very specific about their brewing regiment. You had to kind of follow these specific rules. When you start to get into Belgium and parts of France, it's kind of like, well, raspberries are in season. Let's see what that tastes like
Yes.
in here.
Yep.
There's, blueberries. There's different stuff that's very outside the laws of rules that you have to have for brewing.
Yes.
So we're looking at Lindeman's Creek. It's a cherry lambic. It's a product of Belgium. It's sweet, maybe a little bit tart, and this is going to complement the savory. So
Yes. This is probably like the perfect dessert beer, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like the sweetness comes through. You cannot really taste any of the alcohol in it,
Right.
which it can lead to a very unpleasant morning if you really enjoy this and drink too much.
Right.
But
That's always the worst when someone brings like a holiday drink or a shot of some sort that you can't taste the alcohol.
Right.
It's always a recipe for a little bit of disaster, but
Yes.
in a good way.
These lambics were definitely a holiday beer because when they were done in Belgium, by the time they would get over here, by the time they would come across, oh man, Doug just kept. This is going to turn into the whiskey thing all over again.
Another Belgian beer just at the table. It looks like.
Another great Belgian beer. This is not another Belgian beer like
Yes.
this is.
I only see the back of the bottle. Oh,
St. Bernardus
St.
Christmas
Right.
Ale, yep.
Do you guys have cots downstairs?
We have a couch over next door.
So all right. So should we try this?
I was going to say, enough of the social
lambic?
bullshit. Let's pour a drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is very red in color as well because they actually use real fruits during the brewing process. So this it looks like a sour. If people know what that looks like, just that dark red color with a little bit of the white bubbles on top.
Yeah.
But
That's a great description. It's definitely ruby red.
yes.
So this is going to taste great with your dressing. If it's a savory dressing, this is really going to taste nice with a green bean casserole. I know that sounds kind of funny, but this really is it's kind of the offset, a good pairing.
Mm-hmm. And again, you can go savory with cheeses and stuff.
Yes.
It's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic with.
This, yeah,
And then-
100%. Before, it's light, it's
Yep.
spritey, and it's fruity.
Yes.
And this would be great if you have people kind of just eating cheeses and stuff at a party.
It's also a little bit like the bubbly, the spritiness.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, it does remind. It's like the champagne of the beer world.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. No, this is a nice treat. I like to serve lambics, especially if we're going to have. I serve lawfully. That's kind of my high holy. It's a sour out of New Belgium. But I like to have people's tongues kind of excited before I start serving my food. And
okay.
so just kind of like, whoa, you keep them kind of guessing. So,
Yes.
But this is a really nice beer. Super fruity.
Yeah.
Lambics can be in cherry, raspberry.
Apple, basically pretty much any fruit that you have, you can make some sort of lambic out of it.
Right.
So
yeah, if you really wanted to super complement a turkey or a bird, the apple I think would pair well with this.
or maybe like a cranberry or something like that.
Yeah. So this is a good choice. I'm glad you picked this.
Just be careful if you're hosting this your way and serving this because Brad has an easily excitable tongue.
Right. I've heard that about him. All right.
It's great when he's not here to defend himself.
Oh, I know. We could just punch down on him all the time. Him and his handsome haircut. All right. So now we have a curveball.
The special treat. It's
right. So this is
an early gift from Santa.
Doug, what are we, St. Bernardus? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yep.
So, yeah, and Doug is bringing I did not anticipate this. Do we want to save this for the very end, or do we want to?
After the lambic, I'd probably go to this one because the last one is an IPA.
Oh yeah.
So this will completely change the
Follow
palate.
the lead of the expert,
Yep.
right? Man, don't question.
Kids, we are in for such a treat here. So I'm a big Belgium person, and I had no idea that this existed.
While we're pouring this, back to the business quick. You guys log a little time open on holidays, don't you?
Yeah. So basically, on Thanksgiving, we are open. Last year, I think it was 10 to 2, but we were so busy last year. I think we're actually going to go 10 to 4 this year, possibly 10 to 6, just kind of depending on the people that keep coming in, because I believe that we're the only business that's actually open. And the amount of people, the holiday season is just so busy that things slip your mind.
I was going to say, is there something that jumps out to you that people come in for the morning of Thanksgiving, like, oh my gosh, or is it guys all over the board?
Pretty much all over the board. Yep. And we do get in like specialty items for like a grocery section, based on which holiday it is. So we try having all bases covered just in case, hey, like I forgot the green beans for the green bean casserole or something like that. That has happened before.
Okay.
Unfortunately, getting like full turkeys isn't something we really can do. No. But if you're Thanksgiving Day, that might be a little late to get a full turkey.
And there is a great little section of cheese and sausages and charcuterie stuff. But to your point, if you're looking for last minute things to round out that you forgot to get at the big box store for whatever reason, get down to John's Grocery because they've got you covered and they're here for you, which is the great thing about local and family owned.
So, this is St. Bernardus, and if you come in and Doug is here and he's got a second, he is also well known for his trips to Belgium, and I think he went to the monastery where...
The whole story on this one is the Abbey de Saint Sixtus was kind of devastated after the World War II.
Yeah.
And so they farmed out their brewing to a local guy that made the beer for them under the label Saint Sixtus. That worked until, I want to say, like the mid-90s when the Trappist order said, no, in order to be a Trappist beer, you actually have to be made on the grounds of the monastery. So the local brewer got to keep the yeast, the recipe, and the label artwork, and no one could use the term Saint Sixtus for their beer.
Yeah.
So the Abbey de Saint Sixtus, they started calling their beer Vestlatern, which is, I think, the best beer I've ever had in my entire life.
Right.
The Vestlatern 12. We got, the last time we sold it, I want to say was like 14 years ago. It was $98 a six pack.
Right.
You got 2 glasses, and all the proceeds went to the monastery so they could put a new roof on the monastery. That's the only time it's been available in the United States since. The local guy who got to keep the yeast, the recipe, and the label artwork, he named his beer after the monk that was helping him brew, and that was St. Bernardus. And so that is how we got to fall in love with St. Bernardus, because it, I think, for the price, is the best bottle of beer I have at John's.
No, I agree. And the monastery is the one, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but you basically drive up in front of the door of the monastery, you pop your trunk.
Only on Saturdays, yes.
Somebody puts the beer in your
trunk. A monk will, you'll do the transaction. You'll put the case of beer in your trunk, and then you have to kind of promise that you're not going to sell it, because if you lie to a monk, you're going somewhere you don't want to go.
Right. So there's like no discussion during the transaction. It's very just kind of sanitary, but it's although quiet, very symbolic, and the payoff is amazing.
It's a beautiful experience.
And some of those monasteries, like one of them, their tagline is "Taste the silence."
Right. Well, it's St. Bernardus. It's an ale. It's a Christmas ale. It is awesome. I'm glad you grabbed this. I think probably price point, this would be a good gift.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's what you're giving somebody is something special here.
Yeah, this one's actually a little bit lighter in alcohol than the Abbott 12.
Yeah,
but the raisin, the plum just come through so beautifully in this. Yeah. It just kind of dances on your tongue, and it's an amazing beer.
So I'm thinking like this would pair well with like a bread pudding. I'm tasting raisins. I'm tasting sweet. It would go good with something vanilla, like a icing or.
Yes, yeah. but it also go well with a steak. It'd go well with a pot roast. It would go so many good pairings with this. But this is also one just to enjoy at the end of the evening.
I didn't know you had this. Get down here and buy this. This is great. This is such a treat. Thank you for grabbing this, Doug.
And another one that, whether or not we still have any or not is another thing. But one of my favorite all-time pairings is the Oktoberfest Marzen with turkey. Mm-hmm. The Eyinger, I think, is the best one from Eying, Germany. But it's beautifully balanced, nice malty nuttiness up front, dry finish. It pairs so well with the Thanksgiving turkey. It makes my mouth water just thinking about it.
I haven't thought about that pairing before. Yeah. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe buy a couple extra next year to make sure we have some for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And if, my family did both turkey and ham, and it goes well with ham as well.
Doug, when you're not building your own house and you're not shooting a movie, you are well traveled. I will tell you, a lot of people wait until their retired life to travel. You do a good job of traveling.
I try, yeah.
What is it like when you travel for spirits and wines and beers in other countries? What do you see?
Actually, I'll let JD answer that one because he went with me on his congratulations and condolences tour back in 2023. Congratulations on surviving college and being done with school. Condolences because he's working for me for the next 10 years, and then I'll be working for him.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's it like out there, JD? I mean, what did you experience as far as what other countries do to for seasonal wines, beers, and spirits?
So we went in May, so they weren't really. It wasn't during the seasonal time.
They're getting ready for it, yeah.
But one actually really cool thing was at Eyinger in Eying. They were already making all of their Oktoberfest beers just because they had so many pre-orders and everything like that, and they're the official beer of the Oktoberfest in Germany.
Yeah.
And it was insane just seeing they have a dedicated section just for the Oktoberfest beers, and it's worldwide, but that really opened up my eyes to like how big of just like an operation it really is, just because being from Iowa City, like we have Big Grove, but seeing a brewery that is a hell of a lot older, and also just the efficiency and everything and how far ahead they have to plan for it is really cool.
Where all did you go on your tour?
So we were there for 12 days and we hit 9 breweries and 1 distillery.
Nice.
So,
all in Germany?
No, we were in Germany and the Czech Republic.
Okay.
So this was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly every
And there was probably a lot of sampling going on, so.
Just a little bit. But I think, actually, when we were over there, the beer that made me fall in love with beer was at Schinkerla in Bamberg, Germany. They're the original Rauch or smoky beer. And basically, they light a fire under all of the malt, and all the smoke comes up, and the flavor actually gets trapped inside of it, and it really comes through on the beer side. And that was just kind of like the beer that, like, the gates of heaven opened. I was like, he's been trying to make me enjoy beer.
That has to warm your heart as a father to hear those words.
Yes.
The beer that made me love beer. And you probably remember the beer that made you love beer. What a great experience.
Yeah. JD, I'm going to lose my Dad of the Year award for this one, but I think JD is maybe 2 years old. On a Saturday night, I had some people over, and we finished a bunch of Belgian beer, but I left a half-full bottle of 750 on the counter, and my wife is in the shower getting ready for church, and JD makes a ladder up to the counter.
Yeah.
Bless his heart, he actually picked the right beer glass.
Right.
He pours the rest of that 750 into the beer glass. He has about half of it drank when my wife comes out of the shower.
Right.
And she goes, "What are you doing?" And he lifts up his glass, goes, I'm drinking daddy beer.
Right.
And then my wife comes upstairs and says, "Do not let the humor in my voice take away from how pissed I am at you right now."
Right.
I feel like the next John's Grocery ad campaign could be good jeans.
It's in the jeans.
It's in the jeans.
I'm going to ask you about your trip, non-beer related. Just maybe put you on the spot a little bit. What was your favorite place you saw? City, whatever it was. What was your favorite thing on that tour?
So it was probably in the Czech Republic. One really cool thing is, so previously when my dad went over, he actually met somebody that does genealogy, and he traced it back to, I think it was my 8th or 9th great grandparents, and we actually saw the house that they used to live in the church they got married in.
It's amazing.
So that was really cool. Otherwise, Prague, that was just such a beautiful city. We had the tour, or the privilege of touring the U.S. Embassy, which was really cool.
Really
but
neat.
also we went to a bar that's been operating since the 1400s, and they had a sword in the table, kind of like Excalibur, that was drilled in or screwed in, so we couldn't pull it out, unfortunately. But they also had skulls lighting the ceiling on the way down to the bathroom, and that was a really cool thing to see.
That's sweet.
But
so beer, wine, alcohol is a big part of traveling internationally. So is food. What
Yes.
was your favorite food you had when you were on that trip?
it was probably at Iyengar, and it was just like the perfect setting. It was like 75 degrees out. It was just beautiful weather. The whole backdrop was perfect. They kept bringing us like different meals, which was amazing to try. So all their food there was just absolutely
All right.
phenomenal.
Just
So,
hit home, huh?
Yeah.
Do you know
Was
how
there-
many people would love to travel with your dad, and you had the opportunity to do it? Your
Trust
dad,
me, it's not worth it.
well, I'm not saying share a bedroom with your dad. I'm saying travel with your dad.
Did you
way,
get
yeah.
like a proper crispy pork knuckle in Germany? Like, I would love to be able to try to do that at home, but you just don't see that anywhere here in the States.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
done the way they do it there, where it's so.
If there is heaven on earth, it would be in the beer garden in Eying, Germany. Just
During Oktoberfest.
well, I mean, just anytime. I
Anytime.
mean, it's it's such a bicyclist paradise. It's outside of Munich, so it's a little bit off the beaten path. So it's really nothing but German tourists that go there.
Yeah.
That meal that JD was referencing, the owner, the brewery actually owns the restaurant, and he was the one actually serving us.
It's great.
And
Yeah.
it was one of the most, probably if not the best meal I've ever had. I mean,
Fantastic.
their pork, their beef was, all of it was just so amazing.
Doug, I don't know if you remember this, but it wasn't last summer, summer before last. I think it was a special summer party for you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was our 75th.
75th.
Yeah.
And you kind of grabbed a handful of us, maybe 6 to 8 people, and took us into the wine room and took us like on a tour of Czechoslovakia. Like, and the last thing he said, like, these last 2 are made with wormwood, so if you don't have any place to go. And I just remember, like, it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm sitting in the Bluebird thinking, how did I get here? Like, what happened for the past 5 hours?
Yeah, yeah.
But I felt like I was on vacation with you, just sitting over there drinking the stuff you were pulling out, and you're like, oh, wait a second, you'd be gone for like 3 minutes and
But
come
wait,
back
there's
with a
more,
bottle of
yeah.
something.
Yeah, that was the Bekarovka. We and I've got a little bit if you guys want to try that before we get into the real nice surprise.
Okay.
But
Czech spirit, like
yes, yeah.
seems wrong
So
to say that.
you know when
it just happens to be sitting here right now.
He just like turned around and there it is. So
It's like Brad with a bottle of tequila.
Well, and the thing is, I've got to be very diligent on my pours because this is the last of it. We've been out for over a year, and this is my last bottle, but we have more coming in. So this is the closest to Christmas in a bottle you can get.
So this is a Czech drink.
Yeah, this is the traditional Czech herbal liqueur.
Thank you.
But it is it'd be northwest Czech Republic. The town is called Karlovy. Probably one of the most beautiful towns I've ever seen. We actually took a tour of the distillery. We had to turn in our phones because there's only 2 people that actually know all the ingredients that go into this, and they took us into the room that actually holds all of the ingredients.
Right.
And I mean the smell in that place was just so amazing.
Right. Opened all the senses.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then he also said if we took a picture, the room could explode. So
How do you pronounce it again, Doug?
Bekarovka.
Bekarovka.
Or
All right, you may think I'm
Becherovka.
joking about our international audience, but I know Paulie's going to listen to this.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Paulie, if you can get a bottle or 2 liberated towards Brad and I's direction,
Yeah,
he's our guy in the Czech Republic.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
we take it.
and hopefully, so they changed U.S. Importers,
Okay.
and that's why we haven't seen it for
I
a
see.
while. But hopefully, we've got it coming. This is cinnamon spice and everything nice.
Right.
It just to the unknown. I say it's like you took your Christmas tree, candy canes and all.
100%.
You put it through the chipper shredder,
Yep.
and then you add a little bit of high octane to it.
Right.
But it's such an amazing feel as it goes down. It really actually does settle your stomach. I can personally vouch that if you drink one shot, it does settle your stomach after dinner. If you drink 14 shots, the plane ride home from Prague is much harder than it ever had to be.
Right.
But it's Christmas in a bottle.
So this is, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but we used to eat at a steakhouse down around Ottumwa that had these spiced apples. They're like bright red.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, it's cinnamon and nutmeg, and it's a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Sirloin
there's so much
stockade?
going on.
Sirloin stockade, a really high end. Yeah, you know exactly where it was.
Yeah. But yeah, and I do remember because we brought home with us 3 other bottles when we toured Bekarovka, because that was the maximum that we could bring back. There was an unfiltered one, there was
A citrus one,
and then one that was kind of like with candy sugar.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, those 3 were also just so amazing. Unfortunately, they're not available in the United States. They only export the regular Bekarovka, but.
I see.
Well,
hopefully they get the distributor figured out and you can get the
so
original anyway.
I actually reached out to him. I said, I want to buy a pallet. We need to get this for Christmas. One of my all-time favorite stories is I'd always have a bottle of this open for Christmas, and we're open till 6 on Christmas Eve. And it's like 5 till, and I'm starting to get kind of stuff wound down. And my dad gets over the intercom and he says, Doug, to the liquor aisle with the Bekarovka. And I've got just a little bit left in the bottle. And who is there but the Sycamore Mall Santa Claus?
Oh, wow.
In uniform still. Just got off work, and I said, St. Nick, you're in for a long, hard night. And I poured him the rest. And I mean, you know, a sample's only supposed to be a sample.
Right.
I poured him a good sample. And he shot that whole thing back. And he just yelled, "Ho, ho, ho!"
Right.
And that to me solidified Christmas in a bottle.
You've been on the nice list ever since.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Obviously, our listeners, you can't get that, but I feel so honored to be able to.
For sure. Thanks.
Yeah,
And now we're going to get into the final, the local pour.
Where'd I go? That is me. Yeah, we're doing a little beer checkers glasses. Trying to.
Doug, I don't know if you were here when I asked earlier. Is this the first year they've done this version, or they had this before?
No, they've had this.
They have. Okay.
So JD, when you're ready, why don't you tell us what we're about ready to enjoy here?
So we have a real nice surprise from Big Grove. It is a triple dry hopped hazy double IPA. I'm personally not a huge IPA fan, so I'm probably not the best to speak about this one. But
well, you can tell it's a dry IPA on the nose. That's for sure.
Just all the bitterness and everything that comes through it.
Yeah, this I think is Big Grove's hoppiest. I mean, there's so much going on with this one.
Right.
At 9%, you know, there's not very many IPAs that kind of get over that 9% threshold. You know, usually they're sitting at like 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
So this one is truly remarkable.
So for those that are listening outside the Iowa City, Eastern Iowa area, or actually the state of Iowa, Big Grove is a brewery that kind of started off in kind of a smaller corner place in Solon, Iowa, and now is very statewide, corner to corner, and I think trying to get outside the.
Yeah, so they're a place in Omaha earlier this year, and I believe are going down to Kansas City.
Right.
So
they do a lot of things, and they do it well. They do some sours, and they do some IPAs, and they do a lot of different stuff.
Tap houses in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Solon,
Des
Moines. Omaha's open,
Omaha,
and then Kansas City coming next year, I believe.
Yeah. So it's kind of exciting to have beer brewed in good beer.
Yes.
Brewed in Iowa again.
Yes, yeah, they've done a remarkable job over the years. You know, to have somebody just literally right down the block making world-class beer. You know, when it comes to, you know, getting back to the movie, they actually sent their lab team down in the caves in the old Union Brewing Company, and they're still trying to get yeast
Propagate
cultured.
some of that yeast.
Yeah. to be able to make a beer mafia
something similar
lager, for us. So
you brought the movie up again. I was going to ask you, the duration of the movie, are there winter scenes and seasonal scenes, or did you?
No,
we
did it. We filmed basically late July through August, and so we're going to be getting a little bit more B-roll coming up here soon, and we just got to make sure that we get it before the snow starts flying.
Because the story's contained to the warmer weather.
Yeah. It's the actual. It was amazing that when we filmed the beer riot scene, we actually filmed it the day of it was the 141st anniversary of the actual beer riot.
So cool.
Do you have a speaking role in the movie?
Yes.
Okay. I was hoping you at least got to say something.
Well, you hear me scream because I'm one of the,
did someone drop a bottle of beer right in front of you, or what happened?
No, my role is I'm one of Graff's goons. So Conrad Graff is one of the brewers, and in the beer riot scene, I'm the one that kind of lays out the primal scream as we're charging the Sons of Temperance. And we had to film that. I want to say 7 takes. We had a steady cam. JD got off easy because he was another one of the brewers, but he got to kidnap one of the Swafford brothers. But I was actually in the melee, and I was battling 2 of my classmates, Mark Fay and Darren Zaff. And Mark's a big guy, and you should have seen my arms. I mean, I had so many bruised marks, but being a brewer, I took both of them down. So I was very happy with that. But there was some actual battling going on. I may have I had a rubber billy club, and I was trying to beat him over the head. And at one time, the stunt supervisor said, "Well, just kind of like if they go down, kind of like bring your knee up." And I think I got both of them in the gonads at least once.
Right.
So.
What are friends
It was
for?
fun watching some of your social media posts of some of your friends and local Iowa City people that were extras in the movie. Mark Fay seemed prominent. Do you think he's got a chance to do anything with his acting career from here?
Well, and Mark was amazing because not only was he one of our main Sons of Temperance, but he took Crispin to the airport. He, was Mina's personal chauffeur and all that. I mean, Mark did so much more for the movie than just the acting. So,
that's great.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I say about the community. I mean, in LA, if somebody's making a movie, there's going to be a producer with a roll of $100 bills.
Right.
And if as a property owner, I see a movie being made across the street, I'm going to, even though I just mowed my lawn last week, I'm going to go out there with my mower and I'm going to be mowing to make noise until somebody gives me $100 bill or so.
Yeah.
But here, people said, "What can I help?"
Right.
And we had so much. I mean, from all of the food that was donated or given a really good deal to just all of the background extras to all of the other stuff. I mean, Anne, our set designer, was able to beg and borrow so much stuff because it's really hard making 2025 look like 1884.
Right.
But she did such an amazing job, and it was all because people said, "Sure, I'll help."
Right. I don't know if Timmy's already told you this, but Tim Gordon, is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he grew out a pretty substantial beard for the event.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen him for a couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months. And I saw him at a bar. And I saw him, and I was having dinner. And I was like, oh, boy, Tim looks banged up. And so I went up in a moment of like,
"Are you
dude,
okay?
how are you doing, dude?"
Yeah.
So I did. I came up and said, "Hey, how are things going?" He goes, "Good." And he was like all up spirits and everything. And he was eating too. And I was like, "Everything well with you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Beard thing, that's kind of new," because it was substantial.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm with Albert Haskey's movie." And I was like, "Okay,
Yes,
that makes sense."
He was our sheriff. He was Sheriff Coldren. He was always late to the scene, as law was back in the day. But he said that was the first time in 2 decades that he actually had seen his chin.
Yeah,
because he grew the big beard and the chops, but he shaved the middle just because that was the beard style back then.
The chops were what's like.
Like if you think Grover Cleveland, right?
Yeah. If you're
huge
like
chops
at Hy-Vee and there's a dude that has chops, give him some space. Because he's got some stuff going on.
I tried talking JD into doing it, but he just was not about about that. But yeah, and Tim was such an amazing person, and he's actually since that point he's gotten some calls about being a voice actor because he's got the voice.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, he's a good dude, man. He's pretty versatile too, and I'll tell you what, he's very generous with his philanthropic stuff, and he's a good dude. So.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so why don't you give us a rehash once again about the event on the 3rd?
So yeah, it's our holiday open house. We don't have exactly how many different breweries are going to be here, but I believe it's going to be between 10 and 15. Free samples from 4 to 6, probably about 5:30 to 5:45. We're going to be doing our allocated liquor raffle. So basically, you just go ahead. We just have little tickets, like the double-sided ones. If we call your number, you get basically, if you're the first one called, you get first choice to purchase one of our highly allocated bottles. Completely free to the public. It's a great time. Yeah, it's just a really fun event to be a part of, especially with the family legacy and just seeing all of our friends, family, neighbors, and our community just come together to have one night of fun, especially when it is starting to get a little cold.
Right.
So,
well, and this is an event too. I would encourage you that this is kind of one of those things where if you have like 3 or 4 or 5 buddies, come down. If you have a date, somebody that you're first seeing, this is an event. Bring them down. Bring guys and girls. It could be 10 people. This is really a fun thing. Starts off the holiday. It's a neighborhood event, and you're going to see people here. If you haven't done it before, at the beginning of a tradition, because I look forward to this every year.
Yeah, I'll just play off that. Everyone's looking for things to do, holiday stuff, theater, music. Put this on your list of something to do. It is a fun holiday neighborhood gathering, which is organic and fun and what the holiday season's all about. And don't wait till December 3rd. Come down here before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The wine we talked about earlier, the beer we sampled here, and the spirits on the wall across from us are all available, and they are more than happy to help you pair your holiday meal with all the stuff they have to offer, and they're fantastic at helping you with that. So make it your tradition, too.
We are open on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, just in case you guys forget your last-minute items. Normally it's going to be my dad, my sister, and I working on Christmas Day. So just stop down, see us. If you need something, we can help you to the best of our abilities. Or if you just want to get out of the house for a little bit, we're also here for that. So,
all right, get away from your in-laws. I like that. Okay, that's a good excuse to get away.
Did think about that.
The beer. Yeah.
It's well done. That's perfect play. Buy local, buy often.
All right, Doug, you got anything else?
The only thing is that we're on our holiday open house on December 3rd. We're actually rolling out our Cedar Ridge single batch bourbon at that time. So that will be one that will go very quickly. So if you want to have a chance to pick up Dirty John's Cedar Ridge, that would be the time to do it.
Fantastic.
You have a history of putting out great stuff. When you guys worked with Millstream over in the Amanas, you put out an award-winning white beer. You really do a good job of really kind of coming to a point with what makes something special for you, and the people you partner with have a great job.
I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, you did a barrel select from Buffalo Trace with the John's Grocery stamp on it, and I gifted that to several people, and they absolutely loved having that John's Grocery stamp on their Buffalo Trace bottle. This will even be better.
Yeah, and we just actually came out with extra special bitter from Confluence that we'll have at the open house, and then also with our friends at Lionbridge, they're doing our next generation white now. So
yeah, these are all Confluence or Cedar Ridge. Who else? They're all Iowa. Lionbridge. Yeah, they're all Iowa
local breweries
that do really great work. JD, you have anything else?
I'd just like to say thank you for letting me be a part of this. This was a cool experience.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a feeling this
Thanks
is
for the education.
Probably be the first of many. So,
and don't worry, you'll grow to love Malort.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
All right, so we're going to get into our speed round. JD and Doug probably know these already. So John, or you guys, you're welcome to participate.
On the spot here.
Yeah, and so this is wine, so you might know it too.
I doubt it.
So I'm going to give you the name of 5 bottles of wine, and you're going to let me know whether or not these wines are real or made up.
What makes this hard is he has such a twisted mind. Some of the stuff he comes up with on these, you cannot tell who would make that up. And sure enough, Ray would. So, all right, go ahead. Fire away.
All right, here we go, John. The first bottle of wine is the Big Juicy.
Okay.
The Big Juicy. Second bottle of wine, Under the Cat's Tail.
Okay.
Third bottle of wine, The Swill is Real. The Swill is Real.
Okay.
Fourth bottle of wine, So You're Sicilian.
Okay.
And the last bottle of wine is Jazz Odyssey.
Okay.
So the first one's Big Juicy. If you're playing at home, Big Juicy, is that real or not? Under the Cat's Tail is the second bottle of wine. The third bottle of wine is This Swill is Real. Fourth bottle of wine, So You're Sicilian. And the last one is Jazz Odyssey. For those that are playing, we'll start, John.
The Big Juicy?
The Big Juicy.
You made that up.
You guys want to play? Do you know? You don't
Some
know?
of these are like in your
I don't
store,
know.
I think.
Yeah.
Zach's the wine guy. I don't know. I'm not.
You're not a
there
wine
yet.
guy?
Not
Oh,
yet.
well,
then you
you
should play.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true or not?
So the Big Juicy is real.
Is it here for sale?
It is here for sale.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, the Big Juicy is a red table wine that you could serve multiple bottles and people will enjoy it all night long. The second one, Under the Cat's Tail.
I think that
Real
was
or
a
not?
real one.
I think that's real.
It is not real.
See,
I made
I'm
that
gonna
up.
go 100% off.
There is one that's called Cat's Piss.
Yeah.
That's-
Which landlords will not let you have.
No, that's not a good one. That's not a good one. Yeah.
The third one, This Swill is Real. This Swill is Real.
I'll
don't
go.
think
That's
so.
real. I'll go true.
I made it up.
Okay. I'm on brand. I'm 100% off.
So You're Sicilian. So You're Sicilian.
You could probably tell the price of this wine because I said it's not real. So it's probably real and for sale here.
I think it's real.
It is real and it is for sale here.
I knew it.
Yeah.
All right. I just need one more to sweep and get wrong every one of them.
The last one, Jazz Odyssey.
That just feels like a Ray Bennett made up. So I went with
I don't
face.
think so.
It is real.
Is it for sale here
Yeah,
too?
it is for sale here.
Good Lord.
Yeah, everything we had that's real is for sale here. So Jazz Odyssey
All right.
is real. It's for sale here. So You're Sicilian. That's real. And the Big Juicy. That's a
There
red
it
table
is.
wine. That's
All
real
right.
too. So.
I did Brad proud.
You
I
did.
went over on his behalf. It was a tribute round
Swing
for
and a
Brad
miss for
Dunlap.
strike three.
That's right. That's perfect.
All right, great pod. We're getting into the holiday season. We're going to have a couple holiday pods coming up here. Everybody get down by December 3rd for the event. Bring your friends. It's a lot of fun. It's in a great
Is that on
neighborhood.
social media? Do you have a? Is it posted? Do you guys have a social media? So we want
Not.
to direct people to.
So yeah, we have our Instagram, Facebook, and
Okay.
X accounts.
Okay.
So yeah,
All major social medias you can find stuff
yeah.
on. Okay.
Beside all the wines and beers we talked about today, there's a lot of great John's Grocery stuff, including their glassware that you could get here. They make a wonderful gift, especially for people that have lived in Iowa City, went to the University of Iowa. All right, we're out of here.
Fantastic.
guys.
Thanks,
Yep.
guys. Appreciate
Bye.
the time.